take a look at kale. Kale is booming as far as being a superfood with those who are interested in fitness and health. So I'm just going to demonstrate a very simple preparation method. There's a lot of things you can do with kale. You can throw it into a salad, you can steam it, you can saute it. I even like it slow cooked in my crock pot because I like to slow cook everything. But tonight I'm just going to do a simple saute with a little bit of olive oil, lemon juice, and some garlic. Easy peasy. So you're going to first start with just some rinsed, washed off kale. I just rinse mine under some water. It can be a little bit sandy sometimes, so make sure you give it a good rinse. Right now is the best time to buy kale. It's the fall and winter time, so it's you're going to find it all over the grocery stores or the shops right now and the farmers markets, if there are any still available. Done, Larry. Yeah. So, alright, so what I'm going to do is take my rinsed kale and basically just strip the leaves from the stalk. So it kind of has these really thick woody stems. They're totally edible. I sometimes just cut it all the way across and throw it in the crock pot, and after 8 hours it softens up a little bit. But I find it's not very palatable to just eat it that way if you're giving it a quick saute, or if you're eating it raw in a salad. So I like to just remove the leaves from the stems, and that's easy enough to do. You just kind of strip it off just like that. So just pull your leaves off of the stem. You could leave some of the stem. So basically just the really thick woody ones, just kind of pull the leaves right off and strip through all of these. Some of the smaller, more tender leaves, obviously you don't have to mess with, but with the bigger, thicker ones, again, you might just kind of want to strip that off. Personal preference though. Hey, more fiber if you choose to include it in your pan. I've just found it's a lot easier to eat without the sticks. And I'll finish stripping these and get right back to you guys. Alright, so I've stripped all the leaves off of the stems here. If you're into composting, compost them. Or if you have goats or pigs or something, feed them to your farm animals. But otherwise, I'm just going to throw them away. As well as what fell. Leaves. You can eat it raw. Very good for you. So next, I've got my destemmed kale leaves right here. I want to start with a little bit of garlic in the pan because I think garlic, it's a very healthy, nutritious, anti-inflammatory. The list of health benefits, I don't know, they are many, but I really just like it because it tastes good. So I'm going to include just 1 clove of garlic. We don't need to go too overboard on this because it's just a quick saute. So I'm going to chop or mince my garlic. Just run your knife quickly through that. I like these little flexible cutting mats, but right now as a cutting board it's moving around on me a little bit because there's moisture under there. Anyhow, so just rough chop your garlic. You don't have to use garlic if you don't like it. Choose whatever seasoning you desire. I find it pairs well. It's nice sulfury flavor in the kale. It's kind of bitter sulfur, really strong, so it pairs well with sauteed garlic. Alright, so that's good enough. I'm going to turn on the stove to just about medium heat and add just a little bit of olive oil. So we're not cooking over super high heat. You don't really want to ever use olive oil if the flame is really high. It breaks down, produces not the greatest compounds to ingest, but over medium-low heat, it's fine. So just a little turn of the pan there. Let that heat up. Let let that oil heat before I put my garlic in.
So I
we'll
think
be
the
right
oil has gotten somewhat hot, so I'm going to add my clove of garlic.
It's not super hot. I don't really want to brown the garlic. I just kind of want to start developing the flavors, actually kind of season the oil a little bit. And so while this is going, give it a nice little shake. It's going to start getting fragrant on me. I'm just going to take my kale that I've stripped off of the stalks and coarsely chop through it with my knife. So break it down into, this is a very dull knife, I need to sharpen it actually, into more bite-sized pieces here. And it's already a little bit bite-sized due to pulling it off of the stem, so, you know, we want it all to fit in our mouths. I'm going to grab kind of move the garlic around a little bit. And we'll go ahead and add the kale. It's still a little wet, so it might kind of spatter at you. That's just, you want it to be as dry as possible throwing it in there, but I don't have a salad spinner here, so colander will have to do. So again, I'll just continue, run my knife through. And add it right to the pan. This cooks way down, so don't be alarmed that there's an overflowing bunch on top there. It'll get smaller. And our last little handful. Right in there. Perfect. So now we've got this great mountain of kale. I'm going to sprinkle it liberally with salt. Again, my coarse kosher salt. You can use sea salt, whatever kind of salt you prefer. And just kind of toss that around. Tossing it in the oil, coating it with that garlicky flavored oil. And careful. Keep it all in the pan. That's the challenging part. As you can see, it can be quite a task. So, I'm going to season it a little bit more. I like salt, fresh cracked black pepper, and I'm always a fan of my chilies. I like it hot. A little bit of thyme, just dried thyme. That's a great all-purpose seasoning to use. And onion granules. You could put fresh onion in here, but again, I'm about simplicity sometimes. So, you know, if you're crunched for time or you don't feel like chopping up an onion, this is great for just the seasoning aspect. And a little more garlic. Garlic powder and fresh garlic have different flavor profiles. And again, it's good for you. So that's sufficient. Next, I'm going to take my lemon. I roll the lemon around. That helps expel the juices a little bit better. So really get it nice and squished so that when you cut it and squeeze it, you can get all the good juice out. Now I'm just going to squeeze the juice of just half a lemon on here. Again, that extra brightness and acidity from the lemon adds to the flavor and helps kind of balance some of that sulfury bitterness that you'll get in the kale. But because it is kale season, this is actually the sweetest kale year-round that you'll probably be able to find. So, good time for kale. Alright, so just half a lemon.
try to keep the majority of it in the pan. I'm having difficulties with that. And lastly, I'm actually going to just cover it and let it steam. My favorite method for covering is just another pan on top. So I'm going to let that go for a few minutes until it's wilted down and the kale has gotten nice and soft and tender so that it's easy and delicious to eat. So we'll be right back. Okay, so this has been going for a good 3, 4, 5 minutes or so. It's going to vary per your taste, how done you want it, because again, you can eat kale raw or you can slow cook it for 8 hours in a slow cooker. So it's really up to you. It's kind of steamed itself and turned a nice bright green. I kind of like it like this, so I'm going to just toss it around, and it is good to go. Again, season to taste. You can adjust whatever flavors you want to put in there. You can add sauteed peppers, bell peppers, other chilies, different herb profiles, whatever you want. Just make sure you eat your greens. Very important. Every meal. Alright, see you guys. Okay guys, so what I have here is that whole bunch of kale that I started. I actually continued to cook it down and turn it into a 1 skillet meal for me and my husband. I've added a lot of prepared turkey meat that I've already cooked off. I cooked a whole turkey, so I have lots and lots of, I've got another whole container of this, lots of protein, good quality protein. So I just measured it out, put it in the skillet, cooked it down even further, added a little bit of the gravy that came off of the turkey. So I've got my turkey fat and the gravy portion, so I added that as well. So now it's almost like Thanksgiving, American style Thanksgiving, right in 1 skillet. It's really delicious. So this is one way, nice and easy, that you can get. Think about your how much protein and how much green leafy veg that you want, plus the fat that came out of the oil in the pan and off of my turkey drippings and the butter that I used to season, the clarified butter that I used to season under the skin of my turkey. So I've got a good healthy portion of fat, vegetables, and protein right here. This is dinner, and it's very hearty, so eat up.